Well, wingers are known for their try celebrations. I think they will be directing this one to me. What is your signature try celebration?
Breyton, to be honest with you, I don't have one.
You know what? We need to work on
I
it.
don't have one. I don't
We
have
need to work on
anything.
it. We need to work. Hi guys, I'm Breyton Paulse, ex-Stormers rugby player.
Hi guys, I'm Angelo Davids, current DHL Stormers rugby player.
And this is Bound by the Jersey. So Angelo, let's get into it, brother. How has rugby changed your life?
Sure, Breyton. I think there's so many ways I can explain how rugby has changed my life, not just my life, but my family's life, obviously. It's obviously been a massive privilege because I didn't play rugby at primary school. I only started playing rugby when I went to high school. So I was like, damn, I don't want to play this game because it looks like these people can hurt you. And obviously I just started to started playing rugby, enjoying the game, and from there it's been a massive opportunity just to play the game.
Well, you're doing a good job at scoring tries and keep scoring those tries. For me, it certainly changed my life in a big way too. You know, obviously growing up on a farm, we all watched TV. We were always used to watch the Western Province back in the day in Northern Transvaal, the Blue Bulls, you know, our rivals. And as a young boy in the farm, I wanted to be part of that. And you know, I got opportunities in life. And when I went to Stellenbosch University, my life changed forever. And I think rugby has given me, you know, hope, a new platform, and just changed my life in so many ways where today I can also give back in changing other people's life. And I think that's a beauty of sport in South Africa. And if you look at the current crop of Springboks and what they do and how they reach out to people, I think it's just fantastic. But anyway, there's the next one.
That's a great question. The next one. What's the funniest interaction you've had with a fan after a game?
Yeah, flip it. We've had some interesting ones. You must remember I played in the Bobby Skinstead, Percy Montgomery era, and we had some funny things. I think some of them I can't really share because you know it's too rude. But at some point we were playing in Potchefstroom of all places, and you know, the fans were quite crazy about that current Western Province team, the DHL Stormers team too, and we were smashing, you know, those days the Leopards, and then we came out, and then, Jesus, one lady wanted my underpants. I was like, oh my goodness, you know. So that was quite hectic, man. Yeah, that was the strangest thing I've ever heard.
Oh no, I also had a great experience. So we played at the DHL Stadium. And after the game, we played the Bulls. It was in the semi-finals, I think, the second year. And there was one lady, I would probably say she's like over 50 or something. So I went over there and I was always taking photos with the fans and stuff. And she was like, hey, come here, so. Yeah, he's mine now.
Hey! Ooh, marriage proposals. That's well, that's what happens, right? Yeah. Okay, what role do you think a rugby union plays in supporting a player's dream of one day becoming a Springbok?
Yeah, no, I think obviously it's massive. Obviously, it also depends on the people you have around yourself, coaches and obviously the players. So going to a union it should be a massive privilege for you, first of all, and obviously just working hard to get that Springbok call up one day. So for me, I'm obviously still want to become a Springbok one day, and the environment I am in, it's such a blessing for me, to be honest, because they really want you to do good, and I think that you don't get it everywhere. So yeah, I think the environment at DHL Stormers is a massive privilege for me.
I think for me personally, you know, DHL Western Province was so good to me. When I got my opportunity, you know, back in the day at Newlands, I mean, you guys now playing at the DSL Stadium, it was, you know, an absolute privilege and blessing to be able to just run out onto that field. And you know, just the people, the environment, the staff, everybody, I think plays such a big role because you become family and you spend so much time with your teammates. And I think ultimately your teammates make you that person who can become a Springbok one day. So I mean, you obviously knocking on the door. For me, I played with the likes obviously of Pieter Rousseau, Robbie Fleck, Bobby Skinstead, Bram van Straten, and those guys. And we as a team did well. And I think if you do collectively well, it's easier for, you know, the Springbok management to look at you to become a Springbok. So I was very fortunate in that regard that I played with wonderful players at Western Province, and then ultimately knocked on that door, and I finally got that massive privilege in playing for the Springboks. So Western Province and DHL Stormers, they were absolutely great to me over the years, and I had offers from abroad, from the from local teams, but I couldn't see myself in another jersey, so it was special for me.
That's good.
Cool.
Next question, Brady.
Yep.
Walk us through the moment when you achieved a hat-trick in a match.
Yeah, I think first of all, I was very fortunate to score for Western Province, DHL Western Province, hat-trick on a very cold Friday night in Brakpan of all places. Scored my hat-trick for Western Province, on debut, and then for the Springboks as well, I scored a hat-trick on debut. So I was very fortunate. I think it's quite a unique statistic, and I think I'm really privileged to have done that. But I think again, it's all up to your teammates in terms of the creativity, on the inside.
Yes.
I mean, I had some wonderful centers like Robbie Fleck, like Bram van Straten used to play 12 as well, and ultimately, if the coaches sort of set a platform where players can excel and express themselves, and that's what rugby in Western Province and Stormers is all about. People want to see running rugby at time, and like you guys as well. You guys have a lot of X factor now these days as well, and that's what we did as well. So I was very fortunate, but it is a special feeling when you can score a hat trick.
That's amazing. Yeah. So my memory was, I came from the sevens, straight into playing under 21s, and I was like. 7s and 15s, so it's different.
Yeah, very different.
And I was just standing on a wing, and I was my scrum was Lucky Dlepu at the time, and he was telling me, Angie, just come around the whole time, and I scored a hat trick like that, just coming around, running swings around him. So I think that's my memory of scoring a hat trick.
Yeah, well, that's wonderful. Yeah. Well, wingers are known for their try celebrations. I think they will be directing this one to me. What is your signature try celebration?
Right, to be honest with you, I don't have one.
We need to work on that.
I don't have one.
We need to work on it. We need to work on that.
I wanted to do something one time, and Mani was like, no, I need a ball. So you can't celebrate, just give me the ball. I was like, okay, no, then I'm not going to do anything. So I just gave him the ball, but honestly, I don't have anything.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, people who watch me over the years, most of them would know. I think the younger generation probably forgot, but it was the flick flag, know. And the flick flag, there's a story behind it. Where I grew up on the farm. As farm boys, we used to play in the mountains and everywhere on the farm. And there was about 20 of us, and all of us could do flick flags. And on my debut for the Springboks, it was such an emotional moment for me. And I went into the zone where I just needed to do something, for my farm mates. And the flick flag came up, and I just did it. Wow. And then ever since, after that, I did it in, I would say, big games or special moments that I felt it was significant to do it. So that was quite interesting. But the funny thing is after that, obviously when I've been doing it and I go to airports or hotels, and especially the older generations see me, and especially the old tannies and oompjes, and they will call me and say, Breyty, asseblief ons seun, jy moet daai bollemakiesie stop. So that was quite funny, but when adrenaline kicks in, you can actually do something miraculously.
Next question. Okay, I have been tipped as the next Breyton Paulse. What do you admire about each other's careers?
Yeah, I mean, Angelo, I've been watching you closely the last couple of years, and I think the transition from sevens to the 15-man game, you've done it well, and obviously with more opportunity, I think you will go places. So what I admire about you is obviously your pace and your physicality. And I think now and again you get carried away with the physicality. A card or two that you gave and unfortunately let the team down. But for me, you got such a drive, from what I've seen, and you want to do well all the time for the team. But sometimes, if you want to become, that great player, and take it now some advice from Uncle Breyty. Sometimes in those heated moments you need to stay calm. You need to stay calm. If you look at a player like a Richie McCaw, did you ever see him in a fight? No. You know what I'm saying? So stay calm. I know at that time you want to flip and get somebody's head off, and get him off the park. But if you want to go to that next level and then take that next step, stay calm, control that emotion, and use it in terms of sort of hurting them with a try or something like that, of a good tackle, you know, a good legal tackle. So from my side, I mean, I'm sure you're going to go places if you got the work ethic, you got the feel for the game, you are a natural ball player, and you got the X factor. So good luck with that.
Wow. So quite honestly, so I didn't play rugby since primary school, and I only started playing rugby in high school. And I was like, so one day my dad told me like, listen, just go watch this guy play. And I was like, but who is this? I don't know him because I don't watch rugby and I don't want to play it. But obviously I started watching YouTubes of how you just run over and over again in scoring tries. And I was like, I told my dad, I want to be like that guy one day if I'm gonna play rugby. And obviously I got that passion to start playing rugby, and I was obviously in Stellenbosch High School, so they were just giving me the ball. They were like, here's the ball, run like Breyton. And since then I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to become a Springbok one day. And obviously seeing you scoring tries, it was amazing.
Well, I'm happy to hear that I could inspire you, you know, a little bit. But I mean, you have a wonderful opportunity now to make that dream happen, and I wish you all the best.
Thanks.
All right, Angelo, it looks like we came to the last question. So the last one, how do you think the relationship between the media and rugby players has changed over the years?
Sure.
Okay, well, that's a toughie.
That's a tough one.
Well, if I can start, I think social media has changed the game. I can tell you now, if there was social media, and I sound like an old topic now, in our time, man, we would have been in big trouble. There's stuff that I certainly can't share because we had some crazy long tours, and guys were, but it was good, clean fun. You know, good, clean fun. Guys were doing stuff that they weren't supposed to do. Some guys were always late for stuff, and they got fined and all the kind of things. But the media were looking for those sensational stories, unfortunately. But I think these days, because social media is so part of the modern day life, you guys need to be so careful what you do. You know, we could get away with a lot of stuff. Because people, you know, smartphones weren't even in their time. People couldn't really, you know, they have accusations towards us or whatever the case may be. So you guys need to be very careful these days because all eyes are on you. You are professional rugby players and superstars in a country that's looking for heroes, and you inspire a lot of people. So I think the media still, you know, some of the print media, they still look for those kind of stories, but I think social media has certainly taken over from my side, you know, most of that, and I think that has a big influence on how you guys are living your lives.
No, definitely. I think you've answered it all now. Just for me personally, I think social media has really taken over. So we as rugby players nowadays, we really need to be careful on what we share and what we do. Because it can be a phone here, it can be a phone there. So I think just being careful is what we need to look out for now.
Angelo, my man, it was so great catching up with you, brother.
Thanks, Breyton.
Guys. And folks, that's it from us.
Yeah.
We'll see you at the next DHL Stadium for a wonderful Stormers game.